Alright. Rated. 18 and older. That ain't nothing bad, but AI fault. Again, we're not promoting bad habits. But there was a plant of renown in the book of Ezekiel, so you could eat it from the rooter to the tutor. The book of Exodus told us that this same plant was used and called holy oil. 250 shekels to be exact, which is 6.5 pounds of hemp, which Model T Ford, demonstrated. Then there was the bootlegging laws, just like liquor, the laws we have today. But they were to attack because they are independent from the Most High Yah. They don't spiritually physicianize the body, as well as the miraculous power of the Holy Spirit and grace. And now we are in a biological, chemical warfare, and everything you drink, eat, touch, whatever. Elemental forces is poison to the soul, which is poison to the body, but they're still spirits, as well as all the 70 religions, bringing out the jinn, or the genetics of the gene, of the jinn, the yin and the yang, or things we already have discussed. Grand Solar Rising, Shabbat, Baraka. We talked about the FETTY WAP and everything. This ain't our message about, first message about the marijuana, the cannabis. I mean, for the potheads and the medicinal heads, the lost heads, the spiritual heads. Let's see what we're looking at.
Addicts get onto me and say, come on, Tanks, you know what you're talking about. I smoke weed and life's great. I smoke weed and everything's amazing. Brother, what do I always say to you guys? When something doesn't make sense, you follow the money. Across America, in New York City, in Los Angeles, weed was not too bad, to be fair. But in America, weed legalization has been taking place. And why has that been taking place? Because so people can make money. Did you guys know that in the United Kingdom, we grow so much weed? You wouldn't think that, because if you get caught with a 3-5 by the police officers, you could get a fine. And here in this article, you can see the UK produced 110 tons of cannabis under license. Like, we're producing a lot of weed here, yet it is illegal. But I cannot be the only one who smokes weed now and just feels like it's too much. From November, I've been smoking every day when I go to sleep. Me, I cannot smoke in the... people who smoke in the morning, for me, are addicts. How can you smoke weed when you wake up and go about your day and think you're being productive? It doesn't make any sense. Me, I just smoke when I want to go to sleep or when I'm chilling. Well, at least I used to smoke while I was chilling. Because now even the hash, I moved from weed. I stopped smoking flowers years ago. Because I remember my first time in college when I smoked weed. I remember it was college when I first smoked weed. When I tried it for the first time, and I'll never forget it. I bucked to one of my elders in the morning with my brethren who went to my secondary. He also went to my college, and he wanted to try it as well. We bucked one of our elders, yeah, and he built it for us, and we smoked it. Now my boy, who went to the same college as me, he didn't get high. Why didn't he get high? Because he wasn't smoking it properly. He was just pulling it in his mouth and not breathing it in. He didn't understand how to inhale.
My sound was too quiet even at 100%. Then I found Volume Max.
And while I was smoking it and coughing and I'm passing it to him, and he's like, I'm not feeling anything. I'm like, bro, you need to breathe it in, inhale it. And he did it one time and he didn't do it again. He was like, F that, I'm not doing that. No, coughing and shit. So cool, I'm smoking the hell out of this spliff. Like, I'm smoking the absolute hell out of it, bro. And I get so high. Like, that is a level of high I will never get to again in my life. Like, we both get on the train to Collie. Brother, I'm fried. My eyes are red. He's noticing I'm high. He's pissed off that he ain't high. We get to college. I go to my lesson. I think it was business. It was business first year, yeah, and brother, I remember when I went in the class, yeah, bro, my teacher looked at me, and he was so calm. He was a blessed guy. He just looked at me and just ignored me, innit? But I remember as soon as I came in the door, this girl in my class, she was like, "You're fried!" Like, she just said it out loud because I was so bately fried, bro. Bro, I sit down in the class, I'm not taking in anything that's being said. Like, the lesson's done, but I was high enough to the point where, but when I got high, I wasn't paranoid. You know, there was no paranoia. Like, I didn't get paranoia back then. Like, it was fun. It was fun to be high. I enjoyed it. I went and got food. The food tasted the best ever. Like, everyone was good vibes. Like, it was a good high, you know? Fast forward now, fast forward to freaking the weed we have in this day and age, bro. Even this is why a couple years after that, like, I think it was from the age of 21 where I switched straight to hash. I stopped smoking flowers because it just got me too paranoid, and my right hand tried to kill me, bro. He tried to kill me off of some edibles. We did edibles. I didn't do the edibles. I thought, I'm not doing these edibles. He did edibles. Bunch of my guys did edibles. They were all bugging out, tweaking, and this guy turned into a demon, tried to kill me. It's a long story. I've told it already. I don't really want to get into it again because it's traumatizing. He wakes up. He has no idea what's happened. So we chill again, and we end up chilling again, and we smoke normal weed. We don't do edibles. We
Pause. What just happened here, y'all? What did he just say? This is what the scriptures say. Don't do nothing without a pure, intent heart, sober mind, and guard your heart with wisdom. When you don't guard your heart or put on the armor of God or have the Holy Spirit protection or the hedge of protection of the Most High, when you go out and you do things, you're going to be easily messed with. Double-minded man tossed to and fro, a drunkard drive home, but he told everybody, I ain't drunk, but woke up. How we got home? Killer killed somebody, say it wasn't him. Things like that, but we saw him on video. No, you saw a spirit take over his body. Yeah, you saw the outside. That's exactly why the Bible say, do not war against flesh and blood. You're not fighting external. You're fighting the principle of the thought that gave the intent in the man of the idea in the first place. So when we were able to identify that, he said, oh man, I didn't get paranoid. I've heard people say that. This man lost his mind. Never hit no more blunts or whatever. 30 years later, he still messed up. Man, that's a spiritual problem. I don't know if it was sent or it's a generational curse. But this is where we don't guard our heart. Nobody guard their heart when they sinning. But not what everybody think is sin is a sin. Sin in heaven is different from sin on the earth. Let me talk your communicative language. What is natural by the law is bound by the law. What is in the spirit, well, that's liberty in the spirit. Solomon did everything. Every drug, every kind of sex there was. Because your Bible literally said he did everything under the sun. That's sin too. Well, it was only one thing that he couldn't guard his heart. And that was whatever he did to get Bathsheba. And it caused his physical death. But he wasn't written out of heaven because Yeshua spoke his name and said one greater than Solomon is here. One thing about the spirit, they don't call people name out if they're not living forever.
But this guy smokes the zoo and he starts tripping again. He starts bugging. He goes into a psychosis sort of thing. It goes mad, and he's just humming to himself, mumbling, bugging out. And we have to bring him home to his mum. You know, we have to bring him to his mum like that. And his mum, from that point on, did not like me, bro. And the friendship it's not the friendship's done because I still fuck with bro, but we just we don't speak properly. We haven't spoken in years, but it's still love. You know what I mean? It was never the same after that. You know, it was never the same after that. But marijuana is linked to anxiety, depression, psychosis, cannabis use disorder, and a lot of people who smoke regularly will probably sit here and say, no, come on, it doesn't cause that. It makes me feel good. You are an addict, bro. Like, people who need to smoke before they do things, need to smoke before they get somewhere, or need to. I'm just thinking, like, bro, you are an addict. Like, even when I was smoking, on a daily basis, when I was smoking weed on a daily basis, it was never to the point where like I need to delay doing something else because I have to smoke. Never, never, ever. If we're about to go in and watch a movie, like if it's too much of an inconvenience for me to smoke beforehand, I don't need to smoke before I do that. One fun interaction I had was when I was in Portugal, funny enough. This was after the BBC documentary came out about me, and I went to an aquarium with two of my boys, high. We did it high, and it was amazing. It was very fun. But this was like back in 2021, bro, when weed wasn't as far gone as it is now. And I told you guys, you have to follow the money when it comes to marijuana. Now, what is going on? Well, studies we have from the 1960s showing that marijuana is okay, it doesn't cause these things, are outdated because the weed we had back then was much less potent than it is now. There are studies saying that since the 1990s, marijuana potency has multiplied by 5. THC levels have quadrupled. This study here says that more people are addicted to marijuana, but fewer people are seeking help, experts say. Why are they not seeking help? Because it's
There's another secret. There's no such thing as being addicted to something that is natural until you start mixing alchemy with synthetic or FETTY WAP or fentanyl. Now that's a drug that chemically imbalance the pineal gland, the hippocampus. Oh, I'm sorry. Your Bible says, put thy law in thy forehead and your throat chakra, but it said put it upon thy neck. So everybody can understand me, east to west, north and south. Okay? So, what he just said, that's like saying your son is addicted to, what's it called? What's the stuff, man, when you get a nail in you and you don't gotta get the shot though, but they give you the pill? That. Man, I can't think of it. Not penicillin, but the joint that fight inflammation. It take like 2 or 3 days after you take it, but you feel way better no matter what you're going through. Alright. You can't be addicted to that. That's not even a drug. That's why you don't have to show ID when you go to the prescription. So, you can't say something is addicted unless there's a chemical imbalance mixed with meth, tweaked with dust. You know what I'm saying? That's not even fact. That's truth. Proven. You know what I'm saying? So, not making excuses for people, but just giving you an understanding that once you start saying, I gotta have it, either that's the butane from the lighter because you like to suck while the lighter is being on fire, or the synthetic mess and fentanyl that they're putting in everything, including medicine. Okay? And beer. You just heard him say, man, this joint is super potent. But before he said that, I've heard older heads say, man, what that stuff y'all got? Ain't nothing rolled up, ain't nothing in the bag. I'm saying, like, y'all smell that? Like, they start talking about old Capone or gold, something my mama say, man. I'm just saying, like, I'm like, what kind of name is that? I've heard that before, but it's older heads. So, alright, well, if the earth is depleting and losing its riches of soil, then how can you have more potency now in everything? Soda, sugar. Your kid can be addicted to sugar. Yes, that's a chemical imbalance. Like diabetes. There's no such thing, but it's a chemical imbalance. So, yes, why the Food Network did what they do. You be eating some Popeye's chicken and you hear people say, man, that stuff like crack. What they're saying is they're hitting your DMT and they're making that the same way what you call it addiction. So I can show you in food, I can show you in meds, I can show you the doctor, show you in science, show you in spirit. Just tell me how you want it. I can show you in Taoism. But I stand on the word of Christ. To everybody else, he puts on a costume and come in the form they need that don't take away from what I spoke is the truth and divine power. That's just a watered down version of what actually is. No different than virtual reality from reality, and reality is not existence. Because you existed before you had a body. So what really is death? Or you don't know faith.
Marijuana's always been sold to people as, hey, this, at least you're not an alcoholic, at least you're not a coke addict, you know, at least you're not a codeine addict, at least you're not addicted to heroin. So people assume it's not bad that they need to smoke in the morning before they go out. And I don't care what anyone says, bro. I don't care if you get offended watching this.
Those that are old enough can look back at the Jamaicans or people who are known for that. When it was true herb, like fruits was true fruits. Nobody smoked like that. Nobody did that. I didn't tell. They started alchemizing everything. And that's why people are being addicted to something that does not have an addiction. This is science medically proven. This is why I'm careful of what I speak. So I don't look like that. And someone who knows with proof, which what I thought would be fact, comes out that truth is better. That's how I learn. So I'm mad I can't think of that god doggone inflammation medicine. I can't think the name of it. But that's not an addiction, as well as ibuprofen. So the ibuprofen had pain. It has chemical imbalance in it because it's for pain. But it does the same thing. Man, I can't think of this medicine that does.
Weed addict, okay? Weed makes you dumber. Weed fucks up your...
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete...
It's the reason why I gave the scripture. Because God...
Activity. I remember, like, what was it, 2 years...
God word supersedes, even at its foolish point, on our wisest day. Opposite of his dumbest point. We wouldn't understand. It's the Christ cross message of why would God come in the form of a man. The dumbest part of God is still wiser than man. See? So, again, blood pressure, heart attacks, all this stuff come from chemical imbalance. But you'll say food intake. But what really is your food? The same thing that is called a demon, a devil, science, elemental force. In a doctor, it's the elements that make up your medicine. Synthetics, artificial, which copies the natural or supernatural. So, again, what are they doing? I show you food is just as good as an addiction, but we used to eat food, you know, and be like, oh my God, I gotta go hurry up and get back some macaroni and cheese. When Mama and them, Big Mama and them cooked on Sunday, you look forward to Sunday, but you ain't had no addiction. You know, like niggas be at McDonald's and what I been hearing about the pizzas or whatever, these fast foods, which I shown, they just giving us what the Bible called poison, serpents, and scorpions. But the true children, not by mouth, but by an action, won't be bothered, won't be touched. 10,000 falling at their left, at their death. 100,000 at their right. But nothing will happen to you. You don't think you living these days. So, even for the low-class people, on a frequency for people who don't smoke, I speak and breathe unity unto every soul. If we can look at a devil and try to give him the gospel, we can give a pothead who believe in God. That would be a little bit easier. We can give him the gospel power. And whatever spirit power that make you influence to talk to that individual about that, you better have the power that they gonna want to taste what you got and drop what they got. You can only do that in action. You can't do that in words. And that's where religion will fail you every time.
at this YouTube event and I met this girl. Hey my people, if you could give the video a like, I'd very much appreciate it. Costs nothing, takes no time, helps me in the algorithm. Thank you very much. I can't even remember her name in it, but was talking, was having a deep conversation. She was autistic as well, so was having a good conversation. And she told me like she smokes all the time, she smokes regularly, and she was telling me that I was picking her brain, and I'm just thinking like, do you not understand, like, if you weren't smoking weed all of the time, how much potential you have, what you really could achieve in this life? But looking back, it's all talk. That's what marijuana does. It makes you feel content. And a lot of what she's saying, oh, I want to do this, that, it sounds good. But talk, anyone can do the talk. It's about when putting things into practice, doing things is a completely different ballgame. And you'll find that people who like to smoke weed regularly, they can do a lot of talking. Like, they can talk about things, they can talk a big game. But when it comes to action, they do fuck all. They don't do anything. And a lot of the time, that's the wake-up call that you need as someone who smokes weed all the time. You need to actually sit down and look at your life and think, right, I've made no progress. One of my closest brethren in college, and if...
That's from a former pothead who not calling himself a prophet, who not out here with titles like sober people do, lying for no reason, stealing your money off of their lying ideas, just breathing to you as a regular Joe Smo like me is the reason why Yahuwah will raise him up. We can see the spirit actions. We can see the breath power. So, but it's always the simple, as we read earlier in one of our lives. The book of Corinthians tell us, I'm only going to be with the nobodies that the world call. Today we call scholars, scientists, all that, right? Bachelor degree. You put yourself down, but you got the greatest thing that cannot be beat by your word of God. If y'all for us, who could be against us? Stuff like that. Like he said, you got a lot to talk about, but you ain't living it. That's a script. What is faith without works? See how he talking? But he ain't trying to talk biblically, but the spirit is in him. But then go to your pastor, he'll talk a good game. Just like he said, they ain't doing shit or delivering nothing.
Go any further, have you ever been in this exact situation before? Drop a yes or no in the comments right now. Seriously, it takes 2 seconds, and it helps me know I am actually reaching people who genuinely need this information. Okay, let us get into it. Here is what most people do not understand about this moment. When an officer says he smells marijuana, the entire energy of that traffic stop shifts in an instant. That one sentence is not small talk. It is the beginning of a legal process that most drivers have zero idea how to handle. Here's what most people do wrong. They panic. They start talking. They say things like, I can explain, or it was just one time, or my friend was in here last week. Every single one of those responses is a gift to that officer. You're handing him exactly what he needs to make your situation dramatically worse. This is exactly where things fall apart. Your brain is telling you to cooperate and explain yourself. It feels like the right move. It feels like honesty will protect you. But talking in that moment is almost always the single worst decision you can make. Most drivers have no idea this is even a thing. The smell of marijuana alone sits in a legal gray area in many states right now, with weed being legal in some states and illegal in others. The rules about what an officer can and cannot do based on smell alone are genuinely complicated. That gray area can work in your favor, but only if you know how to use it. The laws around this have been changing every single year. What was true 5 years ago may not be true today in your state. Some places treat the smell of marijuana the same as a six-pack of open beer on the seat. Other places say smell alone is not enough to justify a full vehicle search. You need to know how to protect yourself regardless of where you live. And today, that is exactly what you're going to learn. I have spent a serious amount of time going through real traffic stop recordings. I have read through actual court documents and studied body cam footage from stops, exactly like the one I am describing to you right now. The pattern I keep seeing is always the same. Drivers do not lose because of what the officer found. They lose because of what the driver said in the first 60 seconds of that conversation. Every single time. Here is the first move. Call it the stay calm and give nothing rule. Most people think staying silent looks guilty. That belief has sent more innocent people to court than I can count. When the officer makes his smell comment, your first instinct is going to scream at you to explain yourself or deny everything. You need to fight that instinct hard. Your silence is not a crime. Repeat that to yourself right now. Silence is not a crime. Anything you say in that car can be used against you later in a courtroom. That means in front of a judge and possibly a jury. Your exact words can be written down in a police report and read out loud months later. The officer is not asking you questions to help you understand the situation. He is asking questions to build a case against you. So when he says he smells something, your response needs to be short, calm, and give him absolutely nothing to work with. Say exactly this: "Officer, I do not consent to any searches. Am I free to go?" That is the whole sentence. No extra words after it. No, "but I swear," or "honestly, I have not," or any of that. Just those 12 words. This phrase puts your position on the official record immediately. It tells the officer, the dash cam, and the body cam that you know your rights and you're exercising them. It does not make you sound guilty. It makes you sound like someone who has done this before. Officers know that people who know their rights are going to be much harder to pressure.
This is more for people that do nothing, but because you look a certain way, oh, I smell just like they planned it back in the day. When you know good and well, that ain't my bag, bro. Ain't nobody in this car doing that. Now you got to go through the procedures, lie detector test. Like I told you, I was stopped in Maryland. They thought they were going to pull that black stuff. Messed around and messed around with a seal that had to be called and told to fly home. And if I had any problems with the police, tell them to call this number. So I did. They wasted time, thought I was playing with my ID and all. Threw drugs in the back of my car. I like, wow, this is what we doing. So I had to go into a little jail cell. And they got as far as to take a screenshot picture of me. Next thing I know, I'm, "Sir, get your bags, let's go. Here's your car. We know that wasn't your stuff." I don't know what the military told them, but they knew my character. So I was in and out in a step in, step out town called Salisbury. So, the Most High been with me even in my ignorant days. But I know there, I was doing nothing. So to think that you can plant things, and I've even been in cases where nothing happened or doing anything, and oh, I smell. Nah, this is driving while black. But, okay, whatever you say, we can comply, because we not worried. So, most of these things, of these laws, is for people in those cases where you don't have to go as far as getting beat up, shot, killed. Remember, the camera ain't just for them that is on their body and in their car. It's for your safety too. You have a thing or many devices. That's for both of y'all's safety too. My brother just went through this 6 to 9 months ago and still going through with the Arbondale police. Then he went somewhere, I think it's in Winter Haven. I like, bro, like, do you like just, but I know the world hate the righteous. But I just joked them, like, do you just scream, "Fuck the police"? I said, because they mess with you, but you a straight guy. Rashawn Kelly. No criminal record, nothing, bro. But for some reason, police won't pick with him. I'm saying, but he from this town. That would blow my mind. So, ah, man. And like, it's the new police, though, because his family with the slush your mouth for 30 to 40 years. No exaggeration. So now all these other police have retired, or sheriff, you know what I'm saying? So these newcomers come up there and they don't know. You don't have no pull of power. I said positions of power. So it'd be funny to see them, then they got to come back with an apology. And then people who have rank, that's family that's in there. You'll find out real quick when you make the wrong moves and don't do your job right. You don't know who people know, man. So these things are for people like that, as well as people who, only why you put yourself in that position, especially, I'm saying, in America today, in your car riding around. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. But when you're illegal, what can they say? So you want to put yourself in positive procedures that if something was to happen, you're confident. Ain't no need, bruh. Stop talking. Here, check this out. Now go on about your business. Try to catch the next lollipop sucker, because this ain't one. That's exactly how I talk. I don't care if it's church. I don't care if it's the police, the president. Nigga, you wrong, you wrong. And I'm going to call you out on it. What did he just say? I've told y'all before, I walk by the spirit, but I got to learn the laws of the court because I'm in their home. When you go to a gator house in the water, you don't treat the gator like you do when you step in the desert with a lion. They're two different battlefields. So you can't do what you do on land that you do in the water. So I can't do what I do in church, what I do in the court. But with wisdom, I already win because I learned your stuff and I got the power of the might of the Most High. It can't be beaten. But sometimes you got to be humble and keep them emotions. That's the hard part. You know what I'm saying? And they know that. That's why it's called oppression. And that's in your book of Corinthians. My people get oppressed. You know what I'm saying? Feel like they thrown aside all over the water, but you're not. I think it's 2 Corinthians chapter 4. A lot of you not. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you didn't know you was a Yahushalite, read that passage. And I guarantee you nobody in the nations of no continent fit that narrative. But
having this one sentence ready. Now this next one is where most people completely fall apart. Call it the never touch that question move. The officer looks at you and says, I smell marijuana. Have you been smoking today? And almost every driver in the country answers that question. They say yes, or they say no, or they say something in between, like, not today, but maybe earlier. Every single one of those answers is a problem. If you say yes, you just handed him a confession out of thin air. If you say no, and he does not believe you, now you have a credibility issue on top of everything else. If you hedge and say something vague, you have just given him even more reason to dig deeper. There's no version of an answer to that question that actually helps you. None. So the move is to not answer it at all. The Fifth Amendment protects you here. The Fifth Amendment is your constitutional right to stay silent. You do not have to answer questions that could get you in trouble. That right exists specifically for moments like this one. Say exactly this. Officer, I respectfully decline to answer questions without an attorney present. Read that sentence again. You're not being aggressive. You're not cursing or arguing or making accusations.
just like the murderers, they question in 48 hours, right?
You are using a calm, professional sentence that tells the officer you understand your rights. This phrase is powerful because it shuts down the question without escalating anything. It also prevents you from saying something that sounds harmless in the moment, but becomes a huge problem in a courtroom 6 weeks later. Most people talk themselves directly into handcuffs. You're not going to do that. Real quick, if nobody has ever told you any of this before, give this video a thumbs up right now. Most people go their entire lives without knowing even one of these things. Let us change that together. Here's the third move. This one is called The Phone is Your Witness Play. And this is where things get really powerful in your favor. You have the right to record your own traffic stop in most states across the country. Body. Cameras and dash cams exist on the officer's side of the car. Your phone is your camera on your side.
He's saying it.
When the situation feels like it is getting serious, pull your phone out calmly and put it somewhere with a clear view of the interaction. Do not hide it. Do not be sneaky about it. Be completely open about it. Now, before I keep going, I want to be completely upfront about something important. Everything I'm sharing with you today is for educational purposes only. This is not legal advice, and I am not your lawyer. Every state has different laws. Every situation has different details. If you are dealing with something serious, please talk to a licensed attorney in your state. They can look at your exact situation in a way that I simply cannot from here. A real lawyer who knows your state's laws is worth every penny. Okay, now back to the phone. When you record openly, the officer is fully aware that a second camera is running. People behave differently when they know they are being recorded. That is just human nature.
Pause. Y'all seen the video of Rashawn Kelly, right? Cussing him out straight up for no reason. Like, oh, wow. When that camera went on, he was a different person.
If anything goes wrong during that stop, you now have your own record of every single word that was said and every single action that was taken. Say exactly this. Officer, I'm recording this interaction for both our protection. Notice how that phrase does not sound like a challenge. It sounds professional. It sounds like someone who takes their own safety seriously. Your phone recording has changed the outcome of traffic stop situations more times than most people will ever know. That little device in your pocket might genuinely be your most powerful protection in that car. Now the fourth move. This might honestly be the most important one in the whole video. Call it the hands never say yes rule. Here's the most common disaster I see play out on these recordings over and over again. The officer says he smells something, then he asks the driver to pop the trunk, or open the glove box, or reach back and unzip that bag on the back seat. And the driver does it, without hesitation, without saying a single word, just reaches back and opens it up. Here is why that is catastrophic. The second you physically open something in response to an officer's request, you have just given what is called voluntary consent to a search. Consent means you said yes, you gave permission.
Like child support tell you all what you did before you got here was gifts and voluntarily. What? And you hit me with back support? Boy, that's a hustle.
Even though you never said a word, your action said yes for you. And once that yes is on the record, whether it came from your voice or your hands, you cannot take it back. Everything the officer finds after that moment is legally fair game. Your physical action of opening that compartment is treated in court the same way as you verbally agreeing to let him search. Courts have ruled on this repeatedly. A driver who opens their own trunk, console, or bag upon the officer's request has given consent. So never open anything.
All right. Just like you've been summoned, but it didn't tell you had to. They give you a choice. You scare yourself right into everything they do to you. Do you hear people say, man, I went down there and ended up in jail? Now it makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I like, aw, maturity, you know, without wisdom, we do die. Listen, even you people who don't smoke, you can be in a situation, be in somebody's car who did, and they didn't do it while you was around. You jumped in, I'm just going to the store. Whoop, whoop. I'm saying? Now your ass to pothead. To him, to the whoop, whoop. I'm saying? How you going to prove that? You see what I'm saying? That's why you need to know these things. You think people be like, well, you know, I'll never be in that position. I don't, yeah, all right. Jump in your son's car, said they ain't nothing of it. Whoop, whoop. You don't know what they do. Ah, yeah, that's been a suspect car. Ah, man, smell like this. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be no fool. So don't say you won't be in no predicament. You can just be riding with people. You know what I'm saying? Say both you in their life, man. People out here crazy, man. They already trigger happy and scared. But them two things don't need to be mixed. All right? So, and how they giving guns like got doggone Christmas gifts now? Oh, my God. Yeah, man. Live by the sword, die by the sword. You definitely better know you in Revelations in time. I mean, saying, I'm in a damn millennial reign. If this was the millennial Christ reign, it'd be peace, and you don't have 1,000 years. We proving that. Scripture in the ether. I'm talking about no book, man. Book don't make the seasons. That's hooked on phonics niggas that didn't understand what the real spirit is. That people who can't hear the spirit, they need that. You know what I mean? It's in our hearts, son. Whether we understand it or not, we know that vibration when the Most High say, move or don't move. Peace, be still. Brother, you don't need no preacher. You don't need no educator. You know that voice. You didn't need him when you were in your mama's womb. Half of us, most of us only have a twin. Y'all think twin is special. Now, that nigga needed that nigga. That's why they can feel each other even when you need them. Ever seen when one go? Right. You ain't like that. You were born by yourself, but you got siblings. You were born by yourself. Guess what? You gonna ride out by yourself. But they were born together, but they not leaving together. See that? So don't think that, oh man, the grass is greener on the other side. No, that's tougher, son. I mean, you already know what it mean to be alone. You need to know what it mean to be two and one and live forever together in harmony. You know what I mean? That hurt too, but you're already born alone, so eventually you'll get over it. The Bible's correct. The breath of the ether influence the stars from God. Do not put nothing on nobody they cannot bear. All right? That go for wicked niggas too. He even still looking out for them. Wow. Braka till the next time.